If you're already in the UK studying as a foreign student from any country at all, whether that be Nigeria that is in the news, China, India, anywhere in between, Brazil, I've got 5 recommendations for you. If you're not already in the UK, you are in the process of getting your student visa, or you're planning to come to the UK, I've got 3 recommendations for you. This is the saddest video I will be making in the last couple of weeks. And the reason is very simple. The UK government recently published a staggering statistics of the volume of foreign students coming from Nigeria. According to official records of the UK Home Office, about 65,929 UK visas were granted to foreign students from Nigeria in the past year leading up till June 2022. Meanwhile, only 8,384 visas were granted to foreign students in 2019, the year of the pandemic. If you do the math, you see that that's a huge jump of 686% between 2019 and 2022. These are visas issued by the Home Office themselves. Students don't issue themselves visas, I don't, and most likely you don't. Officially, Nigerians have now become the 3rd largest student group in the United Kingdom after India and China. Now, the issue really isn't about the foreign students themselves, but the volume of the dependents that follow them when they come to the country. Now, according to a statistic shared by Punch newspaper, it is shown here that for every single foreign student that comes from Nigeria, about 0.91 of their dependents follow them, which means 91% of all of the student visas granted is the number of the dependent visas also accompanying them. And this is the relatives, which include, wife, husband, partner, children, etc. Now, the UK really is battling with high cost of living, rise in energy prices, shortage of essential food commodities due to the Ukrainian war, and all of this is happening amidst a new change of leadership, right? And part of what the UK government sincerely thinks is contributing to all of this wahala is what they like to call the volume of low quality people coming into the UK as either foreign student or dependent of foreign student. What do they really mean by low quality people? We're going to get there in just a moment. You see, it's very important to understand where all of this energy is coming from. The UK now has a new prime minister in the person of Liz Truss, and with every new Oga comes new doings. Typically, a new leader will want to show people in their party, people in their country, and people who voted for them that they mean everything they talked about during their campaigns. So is this one of those initial gra stuff that will make the headlines, make people worry, and then fade away politically? Or is this something that we really need to be worried about? As Liz Truss is working really hard to fix the problem of bad migration, the goal of this video is to help you understand from end to end, side to side, what all of these things mean and what you need to do right now. If you're a foreign student who is already in the UK, or you are still in your country planning to move to the UK, whether that is Nigeria or any other African country out there, make sure you watch this video till the very end. For those who are in Canada studying as foreign students, or who are planning to move to Canada as foreign student in the next 18 months, there's a very important update regarding your migration that I'm going to be getting to in just a couple of moments. In case you are seeing my face for the very first time, my name is E to the M to the D to the double E, Emdee Tiamiyu, and this is your #1 YouTube channel where you find top quality information regarding fellowships, scholarships, Japa ships, and experiences that help you discover Africa abroad. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and if you're a returning subscriber, you have been here before, you've gained something on this channel and you are coming back, welcome back. I love you a lot. This video is proudly sponsored by Student. Student is one of the world's largest student accommodation platforms with over 16,000 accommodation places listed across the world. In case you're traveling to UK, Canada, Australia, or America, or anywhere in between, Amber Student got you. They help you secure accommodation waiting for you even before you lift your travel box. This is proven and tested. You do not have to be stranded at all. In 2022, your student accommodation problems have been solved entirely. So get onto their website, find yourself an accommodation in the city where you're going, and you can do that in 3 simple steps. They also have very good customer service and customer support services, which you would really be glad. The best part of the Amber package for me is that as a student, if you book an accommodation with them and you do not get to travel, something happens, whatever it is, you do not get to start your education, they're able to give you back 100% of your money, and that is on period. Try it today and be glad. Share your experiences and let other people see the beautiful benefit behind Amber Student. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get to business.
I'm on my own, broken alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. We're searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air.
If you have been following the news, you notice that the new UK Home Secretary, Miss Suella Braverman, has been addressing cabinet regarding the problem of bad migration, and very recently she's been reported to have said,
we should be looking more at students. We've had a massive increase in the number of students coming into this country. Students are a great thing because they are coming here to study and get skills. I do think we do get to a point where we have to look at some of the courses that people are doing in this country, some of the institutions, they are not always very quality.
Or more. Okay, that is the news. But what does this mean for you and people that are planning to come to the UK as foreign student or who are already in the UK? It means 2 things. Number 1 is this is not a smoke without fire. For every smoke, there's fire. I can assure you free of charge that wherever this statistics and this energy is coming from, there is more to that, right? This graph that we're seeing all over the place is not a standalone graph. It is most likely a part of a huge, extensive report. There's already a deep down work going on. So there is a lot more. That's the very first thing that needs to flash into your head. Secondly, is that it is not law yet. This is still the gra part of how laws are made in the United Kingdom. So you do not need to excessively panic, but we do need to act. There are 3 things that may come out of this whole thing, even though as at the time of filming this, the law about UK student visas and their dependents hasn't changed. 3 things may essentially happen. First is a high reduction in the amount of student visas granted. Remember, in 2019, only 8,384 visas were issued, but 65,929 were issued in 2022. So we may be going back to the less than 10k student visas per year route, which is one of the ways this could turn out. We may be expecting a kind of quota system whereby every country is given a quota of the number of student visas they would be able to get in a year. So these are things to expect. Another one is a potential increase in school fees, because whatever needs to be done to reduce the volume of people who are trying to get in will be done. So that's one way that this could turn out. Like I said, it's not law yet, but whatever law is coming, this is one of the impact that it would have. Another way this may turn out is we can expect a reduction in the number of dependents that a student can come with when they are traveling to the UK. Now, currently the law permits you to bring up to 5 or 6 of your relatives when you're coming to study for something above an undergraduate degree. But that number may soon be slashed, probably into half or probably discontinued entirely, or the conditions may go really bizarre that you would not be able to even attempt bringing your dependent. This one is really likely because the UK cannot stop taking foreign students. Is part of what makes the economy grow officially. That's how it works. But they can actually go some 2 steps further in reducing or discontinuing dependent visas. The third way this could go is it could essentially also affect the amount of post-work visas granted. Now, post-work visa is the opportunity that students get. Once they're done, they have a 2-year window to stay in the country, look for work, and probably settle. This was reintroduced by the last Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Now the new government is thinking that doesn't really make sense. If they are coming to study, let them study their study and waka their waka. So that 2-year post-work visa may be affected by all of this energy. Again, these are the ways I have seen this turn out. Way 1, 2, or 3, but what is more important is what you should do right now. As a foreign student or a potential foreign student who is planning to come to the UK, what should you do? This entirely depends on whether you are already in the UK or you are not. If you're already in the UK studying as a foreign student from any country at all, whether that be Nigeria that is in the news, China, India, anywhere in between, Brazil, I've got 5 recommendations for you. If you're not already in the UK, you are in the process of getting your student visa, or you're planning to come to the UK, I've got 3 recommendations for you, brother. Let's start with those who are already in the UK. The very first thing to do, brother, is to sort out your school fees balance. This is essentially your staying power. What brought you primarily to this country is the power that you commanded by your ability to afford that extremely high school fees. So please, I beg you, do not default. This is what is keeping you as one of the people that they will not stress or bother about. If you're able to sort your school fees, you would be in the good light. The very second thing is, please be of your best conduct. And this means you need to stay at peace with your colleagues and your neighbors. Everybody is now looking at you, so to speak. So you already know that all of this energy is already coming with some una mata donde tire us kind of vibe. So any small issue that involves you or people that look like you may be misconstrued and taken out of context. Make sure your attendance is on point, because whatever it is the law would turn into, you want to make sure you have your grounds covered. Third thing is, please leverage on skills. Skills are the essential things that differentiate low quality people from high quality people. You do have some skills already that you came into the country with, and there are a lot of new skills that you can actually get even as you study. Use the power of the internet, the platforms that you have in your school, the environment, and the lot of opportunities that come with being abroad to develop new skills, and this is going to really set you apart. The very fourth thing I would love you to do is become a problem solver. The UK is not tired of people. The UK is tired of people who bring problems and not solutions. So when you hone your skills and you're getting that degree, make sure you are part of the people creating stuff, either that be along the line of your academic and research or entrepreneurship. Build something, create something, be the valuable person in the class. Do not just go and show up, write notes, go home, sleep. Try to come up with some things, ideas, contribute, participate. These would also help you as an individual. And this is not you trying to prove yourself, and like, no, let me just fight for this thing. No, it's also part of your own personal signature. Wherever you go in the world, whether that be UK, Brazil, Nigeria, anywhere in between, make sure that you are a part of the problem solvers and not the problem makers. The final of my recommendation to you is number 5. Do not be desperate. Please, the only way this will really get to hurt you is if you're extremely desperate of staying in this particular place and you are afraid of going home, you're afraid of going to another place, you're afraid of trying this or trying that. That is when the people who really want to go hard on you would have a field day. They'll just be catching cruise and enjoying how they torture you emotionally. Do not get yourself worked up. This is not like the end of the world. The UK is not the only country in the world where you can really succeed or achieve something. Do not be desperate about anything at all, because I noticed that part of the reasons why this thing is getting a lot of attention is because they know a lot of people who are applying for these student visas are really desperate. It's only desperation that can explain how 8,384 student visas jumped to 65,929. People are quote unquote running away from something. So, and the system knows that. So do not be part of those that are desperate. Remember these 5 recommendations, and I hope it helps you cope as a foreign student who is already in the UK. If you're not in the UK yet, but you're planning to come to the UK to study, my recommendations for you are 3. The very first one is don't be discouraged. There is no new law yet, so the law on the table is still the law. But I recommend you do things a little quicker and faster, because at this moment, nothing is guaranteed. We do not know how things are going to flip over. So if you are confused on how to do this, I made an entire playlist on how you can move to the UK, right, and actually do it yourself. So this guide has helped so many people. There's a lot of testimonies on the channel. Please feel free to explore the videos, watch that guide, and you may be on your way coming to the UK by January of 2023 or even September of 2023. But please be fast with it before the law switches. The second thing you need to think about is if this student route is getting a lot of eyebrows and attention now, there are a lot of other visa routes that you can use to come to the UK as well. There's the HPI, the high potential individual visa route, which I made a video about here. If you look at it, it allows you, if you're a fresh graduate within the last 5 years, to move to the UK, and it is super fast, super easy. There's also the HCA route, which is the health care assistant route, which I made an entire playlist about that you can watch and explore and see if that works for you. There's also a final one, which is the scale up visa. I am yet to make a video, but you can expect that from this channel in the next couple of weeks. Now, even though the student route is still like the easiest of route because it's entirely dependent on you, you pay, you follow up, you get your CAS, and then you move. There are other routes you may consider as well. So do not get yourself stuck. The third recommendation for you, brother, is that you should also leverage on skills. As someone who is yet to come to the UK, you do have an immense opportunity to tidy up a few things. Hone the skills that you already have, develop new skills that will help you stand out the moment you come to the UK. Gather these skills, and I'm going to probably make a video about the top 10 quality skills that you would need, in the UK job market and the society, such that nobody can give you that low quality look. You are not low quality. Do not believe what somebody is saying or how the thing is being presented in the news. You are not low quality, but make sure you are also equipping yourself with skills and opportunities that will not allow anybody give you that name or that look. Now let's fly to Canada. And in case you're still watching, you are the real MVP. Hit that like button, subscribe, and click on the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. The government of Canada is going through a period of economic recovery and growth, and they have been thinking about how they can better use foreign students to improve the acceleration rate of this growth and economic recovery. So they made a very important decision that was publicized in a series of tweets by the IRCC. The IRCC is the Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Center for Canada. Now, this is a sweet and sour update coming from the government of Canada. It's sweet because, first and foremost, foreign students can now have the liberty to do work that they like, not constrained to a particular kind of work, because the moment you submit your CV and they call you on the phone and ask you if you're a student, it already turns a lot of employers off. Regardless of the skill set you have, because of the cap of 20-hour work per week, not a lot of employers want to engage you, especially for off-campus jobs. So this really looks like a good thing for students, because you can now share your CV with your full chest, right? And do work a little bit more around the line of experience that you have. It would also help you build your experience in the area of work that you are intending to go to post your study, because last that restriction didn't really make sense. The second good part to this new law made by the Canadian government is that it kind of helps foreign students clear off their student debt really fast. Everybody who travels abroad would usually have some money they still need to pay as balance for their school fees. So this is the major issue for a lot of foreign students. You see students going under the table to collect less than minimum wage and doing all sorts of stuff just because they don't want to break that 20-hour law. Now, if you are a student who qualifies for this in Canada, the meaning is you would be hopefully able to earn more, because now your time is freed up. You can work and get more money to settle your student balance quicker. Imagine you having to fill up a tank and you're using a 20-liter bucket to take water, put it in the tank, take water, put it in the tank. But now somebody has doubled the size of your bucket to 40 liters, because typically if you do 8 hours of regular work on every day of the week, that's 40 hours, but you potentially now with this law can do even more than 40 hours. But let's use the 20-liter and 40-liter bucket example. You would typically be able to fill that tank twice as fast as when you were using the 20-liter bucket. So I think that is the good part. However, there are three other parts that are not so sweet for me. First is, this really doesn't look like it's about the student. This is very, very much about what Canada wants and where Canada is going right now. It is less about the foreign students and more about using the foreign students to power the economic recovery, which is not a very bad thing. But if you're a student in Canada, do not be overexcited. Calm down and make the best use of this, because this is a response to the shortage in Canada's labor across the country. Secondly, is that this is a very temporary measure. It's going to start 15th of November 2022, which is in a couple of weeks time, and is being experimented up till the end of December 2023. We do not know how this new law would move after that. Maybe it will become a permanent thing for all students, or we would have to go back to status quo. So there's no assurance or guarantee really, and we are just hoping that employers would be very open to it, because it's one thing to make the law, it's another thing for companies to make structural adjustment to really accommodate foreign students as regular staff who are able to do what any other person can do, without using that student tag, on them. So that's another thing that's not very clear. But as long as the window is open in November up till the end of next year, why not try it? Why not give it a shot? The third and not the least sour part of this new law is a potential rise in school fees. And why is that so? There's a simple economics going on here. It's supply and demand. You have just been supplied extra number of hours to work. Normally, if you work 20 hours, you make X amount of money. With 40 hours of work, or unlimited like it is said, you can now make at least 2x. What if schools are already thinking they can get a little bit more from that money you're about to earn? So think about it. It is not really time to relax or throw a party. It is time to re-strategize to see how best to use your time for study and also for the work that you may be able to get. I think on the overall, the UK government can also benefit from making little tweaks to this, to work laws, because the 20-hour cap of work per week is a little bit of a restriction for foreign students who have huge student debt to clear off. 20 hours is really, really small. I do understand that it helps them focus on the study, but really, have we done a survey on what people really do with their time? Are they really studying, or they're making their own maneuvers around the law? So expanding the amount of time that students can work could really, really be a good thing, but it depends on how it is all done. But last, everybody would be all right, but just make sure you stay safe and stay motivated. And remember that you can always reach me for your personalized coaching for anything around fellowships, scholarships. That could be Chevening, Commonwealth, the Mandela Washington Fellowship, or anything in between. You can always use the link in the description, and I can also help you tidy up your CV to get your job in that particular specific job market, Canada, UK, US, or even your local country. These are the kind of services I offer. And until the next time when I come your way, do not forget that you have a right to be motivated.
I'm on my own, broken and alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found.